I name all the techniques after food. So it's easy to remember. I definitely have tips on how to incorporate both because you can do oral, that's fine. But if you do oral and the hand thing, oh my God, it's like just tell them to buckle up.
I agree.
It's
I agree.
crazy.
Yes.
Awesome.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily?
The Caribbean vacation.
What? No, the shocking stories of sugar dating.
It's not shocking that I'm going to the Caribbean for Christmas and
You're
New
leaving
Year's.
tonight, aren't you?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
To Curacao.
With your sugar daddy?
Yes. / boyfriend.
That's exactly how long you can be gone.
2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. And neither one of you have been down there?
Never.
Wow.
So excited.
You found you a good one, didn't you?
I sure did.
You've been on a few trips in the last, I guess, 8 months. 8 months. You've gone on a European vacation with Podcast Fanboy.
I did.
And then now you're going to the Caribbean.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're all packed?
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked at the weather? No hurricanes coming through? I guess it's not really hurricane season.
It's going to be beautiful weather, like 70s and 80s and maybe even 90s.
Wow.
Yeah, very tropical.
Okay. Well, make sure you update your Instagram. I'll be watching your stories.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we like to talk about on this podcast is all things sugar dating, how to set up a profile, how to, go through the messages, allowances, scams, blah, blah, blah. But you know what sells the most?
Sex.
It does. Our episodes, when we talk about the sexual part of sugar dating or just dating, always get the most downloads.
People love it.
I know they do. And we have a guest today. Now, you found her, right?
I did.
How did you find her?
I stumbled across her on Facebook, I believe. I was just looking at something and the bedroom coach popped up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've got to explore this.
There you go.
And I did. And she had a couple of free lessons on there. And I tried them out on my man and he loved them.
So here she is. We'll let her talk about her program. And then I've got a list of questions. And we're going to have a lot of fun today. So welcome Lee Jagger from thebedroomcoach.com, I think. Right?
Hi, it's rockthebedroom.com.
Oh.
I got that completely wrong.
Rock
the bedroom.
We're not just coaching.
Rockthebedroom.com.
Well, where did I get bedroom coach? Is that
I don't know.
on there at all?
I've been called a bedroom coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I read that somewhere.
So where are you joining us from?
I'm in San Diego.
We love San Diego.
Yeah, that's one of our favorite spots.
Yeah, it's very tropical. Not quite Cozumel, but hey. It's gorgeous here.
So tell us a little bit about your background. I watched quite a few of your YouTube short videos. I've seen your TikToks. You're out on a lot of social media. So why don't you give our audience a little bit of background and kind of how you got to this point?
Yeah, I would love to. It's an interesting story because I did not go looking to become a bedroom coach or to learn how to do erotic massage. That is not what I set out to do ever at all. And so how it started was a few years back. I remember lying belly down on my bed, counting out the coins in the bottom of my purse and a few bills. And all the money from my purse added up to $28.23. And that was more than what was in my bank account.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was a rough period of my life.
At this point, were you thinking you needed a sugar daddy?
No, actually, I wish that had come onto my radar back then.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't wish that because I would not be where I am now, which is a great place. But as I was scooping up all the change from my bedspread, my phone rang. And it was a woman who saw my Craigslist ad that I had placed looking for work. And she said, "Hey, you want to do erotic massage? You can make a ton of cash doing these happy endings."
What?
And right, exactly. I'm like, "What? Erotic massage, happy endings on men I don't know." So here I am with my mouth hanging open and like, me? No, let me tell you, Marcus and Lily, a little bit about my sex life up until this point in time. It
All right.
wasn't exactly like I wasn't a tigress. I had a pretty low libido. I was starting menopause, so sex was getting a little uncomfortable, dryness and whatnot. And half the time, my boyfriend couldn't even maintain an erection. I was rarely ever in the mood anyway. And you know, when a guy, he pulls your hand down towards his penis, kind of silently asking you to tickle his pickle,
Ah,
I'd be thinking, oh God, I hope he gets hard fast so he could just stick it in already because I don't know what to do with my hands. So, me doing erotic massage as a job was ridiculous. I was not qualified at all.
How old were you at this point?
I
Roughly.
was mid 40s, early to mid 40s
Okay. All
at
right.
the time.
And-
And I'm 55 now.
these erotic massages, are those legal in California? Is that
They
where
are not.
Okay. I was just
That's why it
curious.
took me a little while to come out of the closet because of statute of limitations and all that.
There
So,
you go.
Right.
no, they are not. And I certainly didn't want to do that kind of work, but here I am looking down at the change on my bed and I needed the cash. So I figured I'd just do it a couple weeks just to get ahead. So I took the job.
No pun intended.
Right? I do want to clarify here. I've got magic hands. I never did anything with my mouth, only with my hands. And so on that first day, I was determined to kind of like pretend to be that sexy tigress and all confident. So the guys would give me a big tip. And you ever watch the show Seinfeld?
Yep.
Yeah. And you know the character Elaine
Mm-hmm.
and her crazy dance moves?
Oh, we know it well.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So she thinks she's cool, busting out some funky moves, but she totally looks awkward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that was me, except unlike Elaine, I was not oblivious to my awkwardness. I was feeling it deeply in my bones. And especially like the happy ending part, I was just fumbling my way through. I didn't really know what to do other than, up and down. And there was no warm up training on a cucumber. No, I was thrown right in.
Like, I'm
Naked
dying.
man on a massage table. And at one point during the happy ending, the guy pushed my hand away and finished himself off.
Oh, goodness.
Right. And I just stood there silently, trying not to fidget, not sure where to look, where to put my oily hands. God, I hated that feeling. I hated the feeling of being incompetent. And in sexy situations, I was used to the guy taking the lead and me just going along with whatever he wanted to do. I didn't have any creativity in the bedroom. I didn't know how to rock a guy's world other than open up my legs and let him go at it. When it came down to it, I had no game. I had no power in the bedroom. And, I could have booked it out of there, out of that office with my tail between my legs and never go back. But I thought, Lee, it's time to put on your big girl panties. And dang it, I kind of wanted to be great in bed. And I realized, wow, I'm not. And I wanted to know how to touch a guy confidently. And I knew in my bones that that job was my opportunity, my practice ground to step into my power. And so instead of running back to my comfort zone, I leaned in and I did that work not for 2 weeks like I had planned, but for years. And I
Really?
accumulated, get this, over 2,000 clients. And you do anything 2,000 times and you're going to get good at it.
Okay, so what resources did you use to improve your skills?
I was on my own.
You didn't go to like porn sites or YouTube or anything like that?
No, I was so
Trial
busy.
and error?
I was seeing like 5 to 7 clients a day. My learning curve was very, very steep.
Yeah.
And practicing on all those guys, I discovered over 69 different ways to touch a guy's privates, to
Imagine,
bring
not
him to his
70,
knees.
not 68.
No, actually, it's more.
69.
It's like in the 90s, but
Yeah.
my business coach said, no, use 69.
Yeah.
People remember that number.
Well, it's funny because I was telling Marcus earlier that if you wanted to get a monthly lesson, it was $69 a month, right?
For a month. Yeah.
A month.
So he's talking about my membership. I
Yeah.
have like a
Yeah.
coaching program and membership where there's new techniques every month that come out that you can try on your guy. And each month adds on to the previous month. So they get more and more complicated and interesting and yummy.
Sensual, even.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, I mean, after a while, I was doing all these clients and my sex life started to turn around. Like I was in the mood. My guy's ED, no longer a problem, whether he was hard or soft. I knew how to rock his world. And so my girlfriends are like, what's going on with you and your guy? You guys are like honeymooners again or something, because it just like sparked the passion. And so I ended up giving workshops to my girls, helping them in their relationships. And I realized, oh my God, I like this way better than doing the guys in the office. So I took all those techniques that I learned on the guys and I decided I was going to teach this. And so I recorded all these trainings that I put online for people to learn from because I want to help the girls out there.
Well, and we want the girls to get help. We
Heck
promote a program called OMG Yes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a very classy program to teach men and women on how to pleasure a woman properly. Sounds like you're going down the same road, but they don't touch on this. No pun intended. They don't touch on this subject where you're finally tackling this subject. Amy, one of my original co-hosts, she has created some masterful blowjob techniques. I always said, you need to produce a course because what you do and all these different techniques, girls just don't understand them or know them, I don't think. And we talked about doing it, but we just never did it. So you've done it.
We're not taught this stuff. The stuff we see on porn, I don't think is good enough for sure. It's not.
A lot of it's not realistic, and a lot of it is drug induced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I think porn is not educational like people think. That's where people are getting their sex ed these days is porn, and it's entertainment, but it's not education. It's I don't think it is at all. The really good stuff is so much more than what you see on porn. What I teach is female confidence. Like it seems like the guy is getting the long end of the stick there, so to speak. He's getting all the benefit and the girls are just servicing him. No, actually, what I discovered in my own transformation and all the subsequent thousands of women that I've taught since is that the women are learning how to rock their own world. And there's nothing sexier to a guy, and there's nothing that feels better to a woman than to be totally kick-ass confident in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like confidence is sexy. I find that a lot of women don't try those little techniques that they see here and there online because they don't have the confidence to try them.
Yeah.
It's something out of their wheelhouse and they don't want to look bad in bed, so they're afraid to try new things. So the first thing I teach is confidence more than anything.
So how did you, I know you said just through trial and error, but how did you discover all these different techniques? So did you just watch the guy's face? You see how quick he got there? I mean, you just put it all together? You're like a little detective?
Yes. Yeah, there was definitely, my eyes were open and I was taking mental note of every twitch, every squirm, every moan. Absolutely. I would ask guys, does it feel better if I do this fast or this slow or with this much pressure or that much
So you
pressure?
were doing a lot of communicating during this process?
Yeah, initially, no, but then I decided, I'm a perfectionist, so I wanted to be the best. I wanted these guys to come back.
Yeah.
Well,
my sugar baby,
I did ask,
Alejandra. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, my sugar baby, Alejandra, she's really good also. And she would try the same technique on some men. She's like, oh, but he didn't like that at all. Did you find that men like different techniques and different
Yes.
pressures and sensitivity?
Yes, definitely. What works on one guy might not work on the other guy. And even from day to day, the same guy may not like the same technique.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's this one thing I do on the perineum, the taint area, that the model in my videos, he's like, oh yeah, don't do anything down there, or don't push too hard, because I don't like that at all. But when I paired that thing with some really spicy technique on the head, oh my God. He's like, what are you doing? That's amazing. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that thing that you hate.
I wish we could see your fingers right now, but this is audio only. She's making the motions of what she's doing, and it's quite entertaining.
It's like a hand mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to answer your question, Marcus, in a little bit more detail, how I came up with all these different techniques was really out of necessity, because like I said, I was seeing like 5 to 7 guys a day, which was a lot. And my fingers were literally cramping up.
Oh, yeah.
Like the happy ending part was physically the most difficult part, muscular wise. Like it was the most draining and exhausting. And so you guys will be able to see my hand motions, but I had both hands on his penis and I'm stroking him. And then my top hand, the hand closest to the head, it would cramp up.
Oh, yeah.
And so I didn't want to just stop, but it was like literally, oh my God, my hand feels like it's going to fall off if I don't stop right now. But I can't stop because he's like on the edge of bliss. And I want to deliver satisfaction. So I keep going with my lower hand and I take my upper hand off and kind of straighten out the fingers and stretch out my hand. And I decided to reach over and do a little tickle with his scrotum and try some different techniques in the taint area, just so that I'm not squeezing his shaft, because that is cramping my hand. So I was kind of giving my hand a break while I was stroking with the other hand. And lo and behold, he moans even more. And I'm like, oh, okay, that feels good. Now my lower hand is getting, because it's doing all the work, it's getting cramped up. I switch hands and I do something different with my crampy hand, and he's moaning even louder. I'm like, oh my God, we think just go to town on the penis and that's really all he needs. Home run, there you go. No. There are so many different yummy sensitive zones in that area that when stimulated correctly will totally put him over the edge. So it was out of necessity to not get carpal tunnel that I discovered all these different things other than plain old up and down whacking him off. So I'm like, oh, well, what else can I do down there? What else can I do to the scrotum? What else can I do to the taint? What else can I do to the head of his penis? Like all these different sensitive areas. What else could I do? And that helped to relieve the cramping of my hands.
Nice.
So I know you come up with these fun little names for the different techniques. And for example, the one I tried on my guy was, I believe it was called powdered sugar.
Yes.
And then I also tried the onion ring.
Oh, yeah.
He loved both of those. What's your boyfriend's favorite technique called?
Oh my gosh. Well, currently I don't have a boyfriend.
Did he get jealous?
There are
over your career change?
I've dated a couple guys while I was doing that work in the office. I don't do that anymore, but when I was seeing guys regularly, I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to date. But when I did tell the guys and explain what it meant to me and what my purpose was behind it, and to give them a sample of this is what I do in my office, it brought them to tears. And they're like, oh my God, you are God's gift to men. Like you are giving men a level of care that we never get to feel. God bless you. Go to work. Help those guys out. So they were really, really sweet because they knew it wasn't just me going in and whacking guys off. That wasn't it at all. But to get back to your question, I will say, I guess the most frequent partner that I have is my model that I use to film all these techniques on, who is actually a very close friend of mine. I would have to say,
was it hard to convince him to be your model?
Oh God, no. He pulls out all the stops for me. He's so sweet, and he thinks it's just it's Christmas every month
Right.
when I'm like, hey, it's
Hey, I'd
time
like
to
to film a
record
new
some new
technique.
technique.
What time and where?
Yeah, no, he tends to like almond croissant. It's sort of this opposing technique you learn in month 3. It's awesome because you think of when a guy is pleasing himself, or if he's having intercourse, it's all motion down the shaft, all motion up the shaft, one direction at a time. But I incorporate different directions at the same time on the shaft specifically. And it's a sensation guys have never felt before. And kind of what gave me the idea, because one day I was thinking about back when I was 13 years old and I learned how to do the splits with one foot in front, or one leg in front, one leg in back. And I remember the first time I ever did the splits, I thought, whoa, what is this feeling? This is weird. Because if you say lay down on the ground on your back, you feel the backs of both legs on the ground. If you flip over onto your belly, you feel the front of both legs on the ground at the same time. But when I did the splits, I could feel the back of one leg on the floor and the front of the other leg on the floor. And I remember it was the weirdest sensation, feeling two things that you shouldn't typically feel at the same time. And so I thought, ooh, so up feels this way and down feels that way, but what if I did up and down at the same time? And so, yeah, fireworks.
I tell you what, this
ahead.
episode is going to come out in the new year, but I know what I'm getting Alejandra as a gift for Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a surefire gift right here.
Okay, so everything you do in your tutorials is all hand stimulation, no oral stimulation?
That's not what I teach. It's not my expertise. However, it has been brought up several times in the coaching calls, and I do give ladies tips as far as, okay, so when you're doing this with your hand on this part of his privates, do this with your tongue on this other part, and doing them in conjunction. So ladies, if you're doing spaghetti, I want you to do guacamole with your tongue on his head while you're doing spaghetti with his hand. I name all the techniques after food. So it's easy to remember. I definitely have tips on how to incorporate both, because you can do oral, that's fine. But if you do oral and the hand thing, oh my God, it's like, just tell them to buckle up.
I agree.
I agree. Crazy.
Yes.
Awesome.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
In your experience, what do men wish women knew about touching a man's body?
Oh gosh. So men wish women would touch it like they like it. You know?
Nasty,
Right,
dirty
Marcus?
thing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like often it's touching a guy's privates is sort of a means to an end. I'm going to stroke him in order to get him hard, or I'm going to stroke him in order to get him off, give him a big O. But it's very seldom, women don't typically use our hands on our guys' privates just for the sake of using our hands, just for the sake of loving him up and making him feel like the king that he is. Often it's fast and furious. Often it's just a way to get him hard. And so by slowing everything down and touching it like you like it and basking in the sensations, like after he has an orgasm in your hands, you don't run away and wash your hands. You take that cum and you rub it all over him. Like you keep massaging very slowly, because he's really sensitive right now, and ideally avoid the head, but you keep going. It's like it's a sacred
Like
spot.
aftercare,
And honey,
right.
I'm not done with you. I don't want to take my hands off you yet. Oh my gosh. A man would melt if a woman did that. He wants her to touch it like she likes it.
What do you think, Lily? I think she knows what she's talking about.
I think she does too.
she's hitting the spots for me right now.
She's making me feel a little guilty because I just want to get my man hard so I can ride the baloney pony.
Oh, you're killing me.
I got to be
Nothing
nicer
wrong
to
with
him.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people say that this is foreplay napalm. it's a good way to get him really, like tease the hell out of him. This isn't about racing towards the finish line. You can tease him and edge him and get him really, really, really turned on, so that if you want to ride the baloney pony, you got a way to do that in a really yummy, spicy way. And the thing is, Lily, when you are touching your guy in this way, to this level of expertise and care, it kind of up levels his game in the bedroom. Like, he doesn't really want to be outdone. If you're shoveling all this bliss on him, he's going to want to step up his game. Like, whoa, yeah, I don't know what is going on, but I feel like I'm not really keeping up to her. And he's gonna want to spend a little bit more extra special attention
and that's
on
not
you.
a bad thing, right, Lily?
No, that's not a bad thing. My guy
Not bad at all.
loves vaginas.
Yeah.
And so I convinced him to let me sign him up for the OMG Yes course. And he loves it. And he is doing all the things.
Oh, it's been worth it, huh?
Putting his lessons to work. Yeah, so
Wow.
you're right. I probably should return the favor.
Well, from my understanding, Trucker's visited a few happy ending places.
Oh, yes.
So he knows the good one
he's
from
a
a
fan.
bad one.
He's a fan of a happy ending.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Lee, you say that Mother Teresa can teach us how to show up as a compassionate lover. So explain that.
Yeah, Mother Teresa. Yes, correct. So, she helped people in the depths of poverty and hopelessness and all that, right? But she said, one of her quotes is, the most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted. And let me tell you, ladies, when you don't touch your guy's penis, like not just with your vagina, not just with your mouth, but with your hands, like reach out and touch his private area, he feels lonely, like he's feeling neglected. We call it his manhood for a reason. Guys highly identify with their privates. So if you're avoiding that area, then he feels unloved.
You know what? I can attest to that because we call my boyfriend Trucker. That's just his podcast nickname. But he was in a 5-year relationship with a woman who just completely cut him off sexually because she was going through menopause. And she said, I just don't need it or desire it anymore. We're getting older and I'm sorry, that's how it is. But I don't mind if you jack off. But that's not the same.
It's so not the same. No, it's an act of love. And so you're denying your guy love when you're denying him your touch.
Which is why
in that
he sought
sensitive way.
out the happy endings, is because he needed that.
Of course. Yeah. There's such a stigma towards men who seek out happy endings. But really, I had so much compassion in my office for all the guys who came to see me. It's like I was an oasis in the middle of a desert, and they're expected to not be able to drink water at home. And I got bottled water in my office, and here I am giving this guy a gulp of fresh water. Guys need this like they need oxygen. It makes no sense that we would, as women, would expect guys to be okay with no sexual desire. Women and men are different, and I get that. But for the most part, men are fairly sexual. Like, they have sex in order to feel close to us. Women, we need to feel close to the guy in order to want to have sex. Typically, I mean, that's not always the case. So for a woman, if she's like, I'm not into it, he's like, okay, well, I'll get you into it by, having sex. But if she keeps denying him, he's starving. He is starving. We need to know how to love our guys in the ways that he feels like he's picking up what we're putting down. Most men have touch as their primary love language, and we need to honor that.
All right, so what do the women get out of this? I love what you're saying. I love the techniques. The program, I'm already recommending it. even though I haven't taken it yet, but Alejandra will be getting this as a gift for Christmas. We're going to see how she puts it to use. But what do the women get out of this?
Women get such a big dose of confidence. Men don't like to look bad in bed, neither do women. And we don't really, we typically go along with whatever the guy is doing. But for us to feel confident in the bedroom and confident out of the bedroom, there's ripple effects. When you are able to rock the bedroom, then you're able to rock your relationship. You end up finding your voice and being able to express what you need in and out of the bedroom. You have more of a voice to ask for that raise at work. Confidence in the bedroom ripples out in all areas of her life. Say she's going out on a date. She's not thinking, well, at least when she's in my world, she's not thinking, oh, God, I hope this guy likes me. Is he going to call me back? I really like him, but I don't know. No, there's none of that head game stuff going on in her brain. When she has this level of confidence, she's sitting across the table from that guy thinking, oh boy, you have no idea the lottery you won by
Right?
sitting across the table from me
That's
and
great.
my magic hands.
Yeah.
So this level of confidence is huge. And also, like we've alluded to, like I had a guy in my office when I told him I was about to start teaching this to women, he said, oh, you teach women how to do this for their guy, and a man will swim oceans for her. Oceans.
That's a true statement.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's this reciprocation thing that will happen when you shovel this much bliss on your guy, then it comes back to you, honey. Like he's cooking dinner for you. He's buying you those things that you wanted. He's fixing that fence that's squeaky. I'm telling you, it comes back.
There you go. So what about the word foreplay do you not like?
Yeah, foreplay alludes to, okay, so all this touching and the what we would typically think is foreplay, all the stuff leading up to intercourse. It alludes to the idea that that is just the pre-game show to intercourse. And while there's nothing wrong with intercourse, that doesn't need to be just the main event. You can have incredible sexy, I call it sexy time, or outer course, because it can be the main course. It can be the main event if done right.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, okay, you know, like how much of this stuff do we need to do before we get to the main event? I've had guys in my office and in my bed personally who've said, oh my God, so, okay, my model, for example, he said this to me. He said, Lee, sex is like getting in an airplane. Like most people are having airplane sex where, you know, the propellers are going, they're flying, they're up in the air. It's great. It's awesome. Woohoo, we're flying. But then, Lee, what you do, and this is without intercourse, people. He said, what you do is then you put me in a jet and we're going so fast and we're going to all these awesome destinations and my hair is getting blown back and it's just nutso. But then you don't stop there. Then you put me in a rocket and you take me up into the cosmos and I'm in like, I don't know, the 9th dimension and I'm going around the rings of Saturn and I have to look down to make sure that my dick is still attached because I don't even know what
The
is happening
visuals
to
are
my
just so
privates right
much.
now.
Okay.
So he's like, you do cosmic sex. Everyone else is doing the airplane sex with the propellers. This is a whole different thing. So even though we didn't have intercourse, the sensations I did give him were beyond intercourse. They were sensations he's never felt before that intercourse can't even touch. So I'm not saying intercourse is bad. I'm just saying if you eat spaghetti and only spaghetti, i.e., intercourse, and spaghetti's great. We love spaghetti. But if that's the only thing you eat, you're missing out on so many tastes and textures, you know, that you don't get. Like there's just so much more that you don't even know.
We covered that in episode 1 of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Yeah, we've done hundreds of episodes, and that was actually a big topic in episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Variety, people.
a little teaser to your program. What is one thing women get wrong about the penis?
Oh, okay. There's several things, but I'll give you one thing. One thing that women get wrong about the penis is that if he's got erection issues and he can't get it up or he can't maintain an erection, that there's kind of like, all right, there's
Which
nothing we
happens a
can
lot
do.
because we deal with older men mostly in our audience.
It's happened to me.
Yeah, it's happened to most every
Yeah,
sugar baby.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like, given the tools that we've been given and the techniques that we engage in the bedroom, if he loses an erection, it's kind of like, game over. Let's try next time, like, but there are so many things that you can do with a soft penis
Mm-hmm.
to blow his freaking mind. And he can have an orgasm even if it's soft. It doesn't have to be erect. Those nerve endings in his penis and all over his privates are still alive and well. We just don't know what to do with a soft penis.
Lily, you've had
But
a
I can
little
show you-
experience with that, right?
I have had that experience, and the guy told me the exact same thing that you're saying is even though I can't get hard, I can still have an orgasm and I can still ejaculate.
Yes.
But I didn't know what to do. So it was awkward for
Exactly.
me.
Yes. And so I teach most of my audience or my members are like 50s, 60s, 70s. And so they're dealing with a lot of guys with erection problems. And so, yeah, that's a big mission I have in my membership is teaching women what to do in those cases so that he's not feeling unloved and he's not feeling neglected. That his penis, he doesn't need to feel broken just because his penis won't perform the way he wants it to. He's not broken. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of things you can do with a soft penis. And a lot of women just don't know.
And do you cover these?
Yes, I do.
All right, there
I
you go.
Sure
love
does.
a soft penis. Oh my God, it's so, so great.
Really?
Because it shocks the hell out of the guys because they've been conditioned to believe that, oh, it's getting soft, so nothing's going to happen. So when I'm unleashing dozens of sensations on his body when he's got a soft penis, that's even almost better than when it's hard because he's not expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he feels extra cared for. He's getting the royal treatment. Yeah,
Right.
in that case.
Okay, how do you revive a relationship that is getting a little bit stale? You've been together for a few years. You know each other's bodies pretty well. It's just not as exciting anymore, and it gets to be pretty mundane. How do you
bring that sexy
How do you
back?
spice up the bedroom?
Variety is really the spice
Mhm.
of a sex life. Variety is everything. The same old, that puts people into a rut of complacency and not trying to win their partner, not trying to woo their partners. And so the easiest way to spice things up is throw in something new, something that he's never done or you've never done. Throw in the new stuff. And I will say one thing that even if people listen to this episode and they don't ever go to my website, here's what I would tell women that you can do today to spice things up. Slow everything down. No matter what you're doing, even if you don't add something new to your relationship, just whatever you are doing, slow it down. And when you think you're going slow enough, you're still going too fast. Slow it down more.
Interesting.
Like, for example, you give your guy a peck, a little kiss as he leaves the room or leaves your house or whatever. Make it a 7-second kiss. Slow it down. Like, let's just sink into that moment just a little bit.
Let those lips linger.
Yes, exactly. Whatever you're doing between the sheets, slow it down. It tells your guy, ooh, we're savoring this. We're not just trying to bang one out. when you slow things down, you discover more things about your partner's body. You get to feel more things on your body when he slows his touch down. Like, for example, Lily, when you went to my website and you did the free technique powdered sugar,
Yeah.
and in that video, I say, go super slow. Like, if you were to do that technique fast and ask your guy, okay, does this feel as good as when I do it slow, and then slow it down like 10 times what you just did? He will say, oh, wow, that feels way better when you go slow.
Well, and
And
he
Mhm.
actually loved it because I'm more the person who wants to be desired and I want a man to initiate. But I had watched your video and I wanted to surprise him and I wanted to try it on him. And he absolutely was, first of all, shocked that I'm initiating. And then secondly, it just really relaxed him. And he absolutely loved it.
Right. And didn't that give him more of a desire for you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you not see heart emojis in his eyes?
Oh, yeah. He absolutely loved it. In fact, we were talking about it. We were on the phone when I was driving here this morning. And I was like, so do you remember when I did the powdered sugar technique and the onion ring technique? He's like, no. I'm all, okay, maybe I need to try that again. It's been a little too long since I tried it. And then I talked more. He goes, oh, yeah, you do need to do that again. So he loved both of them.
And what you'll find, Lily, is that when you do those kinds of techniques on him, he will initiate more. I hear this story all the time from my clients who they say, yeah, well, I can't actually get through that combination you showed me of those 5 things to put together. I can't get through them because he throws me down on the bed. And then, like we're off to the races because I'm driving him crazy so much. So to get him to act like he's desiring you and initiating playtime and initiating new things, this is a good way to kind of crack that door open as an invitation for him to show more desire for you, because it gets his engine kind of revved up. And even just by saying, if you've been doing these techniques on him a few times, and then you say, hey, so you up for a massage tonight? He's instantly turned on, and he's instantly like grabbing your hand and pulling you to the bedroom. So it's sort of a backdoor way to get him to show his desire for you more.
I knew this episode was going to go very quickly, but Lee, as we end, give us one thing that our female audience can do to add a little spice to their love life today.
Well, I kind of already dropped that little nugget of slowing things down. And I will say specifically for the private area, touch him. 2 things. Touch him sexually out of the bedroom. So if you're sitting next to him and you're watching Netflix or whatever, rest your hand on his privates. Just rest it there. You don't you're not expecting him to perform. That might start something, but just touching him sexually in a way that doesn't expect him to perform. That is gold. It's magic. And it transforms your relationship in so many ways I can't even explain to you. And also in the bedroom, when you think you're going to be touching sexually, touch him non-sexually. Don't just reach for his privates, but there's also really yummy, delicious areas of his body, like the insides of his elbows, the backs of his knees, in the base of his neck, around his collarbone. Touch him in non-sexual areas in a sensual way.
Just rub his ears.
His ears?
Yeah. Ears are
good.
sensitive.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Rub his ears and then lick his ears.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Yeah, ears are usually a pretty good hot spot. And do powdered sugar on his ears.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, one last thing, Lee. How do you look 35? Right, Lily?
Yes,
Oh
you
my
look
gosh.
so young.
I wish you guys could
love you
see
guys.
her.
She's stunning.
Unbelievable. She said
Blonde
she was
hair.
55.
You're 55?
I'm 55, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Look at that. She's
You think
amazing.
a sugar daddy would pay attention to me? I'm not
Oh
20.
my gosh, you would be
100%.
prime for a sugar daddy, and especially with your techniques.
Oh, yeah. We're probably going to have sugar daddies reach out to us and want an introduction.
Well, they'll be able to go to her website.
Trust me, the sugar daddies, not all, but many sugar daddies like a mature woman. I'm 53, about to be 54, and I've had
Oh my God, you look amazing.
Thank you. I've had no trouble connecting. A lot of sugar daddies are older men, and they want a age similar woman that they can take in public, and it doesn't look like they're your father
Right.
or your grandfather.
And honestly, I wouldn't want to date me when I was 25. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, I'm way better of a person now than I ever was
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago.
All right, well, tell us a little bit as we finish up again about your course, where they can find you, all your social medias. We'll have a link to it at the bottom of this episode, so you'll be able to just click on it for convenience. But Lee, tell us about where they can get all this information.
Well,
you're going to find a new subscriber soon, like probably today.
That's awesome. So my website is rockthebedroom.com. And on there, you can get the free technique, powdered sugar, that we've been talking about, and try it out. And if you like it, I do have a membership where you get new free techniques every month. Plus, you can jump on like a Zoom call, either anonymously or with your camera on, and ask questions of me and get coaching. I do that every week. If you want to check out the membership, that's at rockthebedroom.com/membership.
Great. Well, we really appreciate you. This might be my new favorite episode, right, Lily?
Yeah.
This has been great.
I knew it was going to be good. I was so glad when you said yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I started listening to your podcast because I didn't know about it before Lily reached out to me. And so I started listening to it. I'm like, oh, I got to get on here. This is going to be fun.
Well, I mean, not only do we have a big female audience, but our men audience can benefit from this too. And like, I'm going to be buying this for my sugar baby. So I think she's going to love it because she loves to try new techniques, but any knowledge that you can gain from somebody who's had experience like Lee, the better, right? Guys, we'd love to hear your crazy sugar dating stories. So go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com and follow us on Instagram at the same name. And then don't forget to go to our Patreon. Lily, we've been loading things up, right?
Yep. Working on it.
Patreon, we've started loading up pictures and video, and you're actually going to get a sneak peek of the episodes before we release them. Go to patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. And again, we'll put a link to it at the description of this episode. All right, anything else? I think we're good. Have fun in how you say it?
Curacao.
Curacao. Have fun there. We want to update.
Oh, of course.
All right. Happy New
Wouldn't
Year,
deny you
everyone.
that.
All right, Lee, once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
You guys are so fun.
All right, until next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.